Hey, welcome back to the DVD bunker. I'm Brian. It's Matt.
How's it going, Brian?
It's going good, going good. It feels good to be back, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm sure if you're a fan of the show, you've noticed we've been on a little short hiatus. Hey, you know, man, life gets in the way. You can't just, unfortunately, and kind of like unexpectedly, our internet fame hasn't kicked in yet. So we're not able to live off of this. So we got to live our lives and work our regular square jobs and whatnot. But we're back. If it's the first time, and maybe this hiatus didn't affect you at all, this is a show where we go through my old DVD collection. We look at movies that I haven't watched in a really long time, or maybe I've only seen like once, or maybe really enjoy and just need to get more love. And we try to do a little bit of all of that here. So today we are doing a kung fu movie. We're getting back into some kung fu movies, and who better to start with than an icon? Well, not start with, but who better to get into it this week with the icon Bruce Lee? So, confession time. I probably own like 4 or 5 Bruce Lee movies. Outside of Enter the Dragon, I am not great with which one is which and what's in what movie and what iconic shot of Bruce Lee is from what film. They all kind of run together a little bit for me. How about you?
Same way. He's kind of before my time, so I never went back. I understand he's probably the most important, but I'm a Jackie Chan guy.
Right, Jackie Chan, Jet Li.
Yeah, Jet Li. Absolutely.
And then Donnie Yen now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For sure. And should be noted, just a little wraparound, Donnie Yen played Ip Man in the Ip Man trilogy, and then that's Ip Man trained Bruce Lee. That's the whole
So what you're saying is Donnie Yen greater than Bruce Lee is what you're saying right now.
I'll put that out there. It's all right.
All right.
All right. Put that out
hot
there.
takes,
I'm known
baby.
for the hot takes.
Woo! Don't come back cold, baby. We'll come back hot.
So I thought it would be a good idea to start with like what is considered his first starring role. I think he had some bit parts. You know how it always goes. I think Jackie Chan's got a bit part in Enter the Dragon even. So it's like one of those things but this was his first starring role. But there's plenty of stuff about Bruce Lee. People don't come here for our knowledge about Bruce Lee and the man's life. They want to hear our opinions on his movies, and they want us to rate his kung fu against our current masters. So that's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna see if this is a worthwhile venture. So what do you think? You about ready? You got anything else?
No, let's watch Fists of Fury, man.
Yeah, or Big Boss, whatever
Big Boss.
Yeah. All right, we're back. We watched Fists of Fury. Right off the bat, I wanted to say, first thing I noticed, title sequence, awesome mix of just the same shot of Bruce Lee in motion, like just kind of like jumping around the screen, and colored blocks. Like super 70s. It felt super, and also the shittiness of this transfer from whatever like we were talking about how that rush in the early days of DVD. Like this is clearly somebody's like 3rd generation copy that they just burned onto some DVDs. I mean, I know I would have expected more from Good Times DVD, but I was a little bummed out by the look of it. So, if it rates, if it makes good buy, maybe they're a reissue in Blu-ray is in order or something.
National General Pictures.
National General.
Surprisingly,
Pictures.
not up to their usual high standard.
Right.
Of,
without the Golden Harvest seal of approval, you're in trouble. So we'll lay out just the basic plot. Chang's a country boy. That's Bruce Lee. He plays Chang. Country boy comes to the big city to meet up with his cousins. They're all working there. They got jobs. The main cousin is Xiao Shen, who's like, I don't know, kind of like the Robin Hood of the town. Like he's kind of a little bit of a badass. Like he definitely doesn't shy away from a fight. Like that's for sure. We're introduced to Chang, and he's made this vow about not fighting. He wears this little amulet to help him remember his vow. And like right away, as soon as he gets off the boat, he's like getting some shaved ice, and these thugs come up and start messing with the shaved ice girl. And he's all, no, not gonna get involved. And Xiao Shen shows up after. They also pick out a little kid.
Yeah, they pick out
selling
a boy.
buns. Xiao Shen shows up. He does not take any shit. First of all, he beats their ass. Then when they're running away, he chases them down and gets them again. He's like, I wasn't done with you. And he like beats their ass in the streets some more.
Yeah, that's a good. You don't see that like where the good guy kind of follows him down the street. It's like no.
Usually the bad guys run off and the good guy's just like, okay, checks on everybody. No, not Xiao Shen. He went after.
Yeah.
He went after.
In fact, he doesn't really give a shit if those people are okay. He never really asks them. He's more focused on just beating.
That's true. So he meets up with Xiao Shen, and he's living with a house of like 7 or 8 cousins. They're all related. and Chang's moving into this house as well, and they all work at the local ice factory.
Yeah, the ice. This is like Ice Town. This is pretty much what
Right.
this town is. This post-apocalyptic too.
Oh, it could be.
There doesn't seem to be electricity. There doesn't. This looks like it's shot in the Midwest too.
There's cars and trucks and stuff.
Do they have cars?
You know?
Yeah, I guess they do have
some
some
guys show up in the
cars.
bus later.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. There was a bus, and I guess some guys have guns.
There's not a lot of guns though.
No, just the police have guns.
Yeah,
I think that's the only gun we
yeah.
see. Anyway.
So, you know, they get Chang a job at the ice factory. Things are a little shady though. Like we see a little like backdoor dealings. We see like a shady character leaving the manager's office at one point, you know, and obviously the foreman on the floor is a dick and everything like that.
Yeah. We see his first day. We see the drug. Well, they don't say it's drugs, but we're supposed to infer that it's drugs.
Yeah,
right?
Two of the cousins who live with it. There's like an accident, and here's the thing. I thought there was going to be a plot where Chang was like undercover. I guess I'm thinking Enter the Dragon style, where he like comes in undercover, because I was thinking he kind of causes the accident where the ice block breaks, right? And that's when the drugs are discovered. He doesn't see them. Two of the other cousins see the drugs. But I was like, the way he kind of made it, hey, I dropped that and that was my mistake. It was like he did it intentionally to like see what was in the block. So I thought that never comes there. There's none of that in there.
No, none of that. Maybe not. Well, in this version anyway.
Oh. So two of the cousins see the drugs fall out of this ice block. So after work, they're held back and they have to go to the manager's office. Now I like this. The manager offers them a deal first, right?
Yeah.
He's like gives them $1,000. He wants to give them $1,000 each, or whatever their money is,
whatever
1,000 whatevers.
Or fake money.
Yeah,
in China.
Weird colored monopoly shit.
Yeah.
But he wants to give him $1,000 and like bring him in on the he just straight up with him. He's like, oh yeah, there's no money in ice. This is a dope running ring.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're smart boys. You want to make money? Like you want to run dope?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Get in on the
And they gotta play it down. They're just like, oh, we're just dumb country kids. We don't want to, we don't want to get into this sort of thing. We'd mess it up. And he's like, well, at least take the money. They don't take the money either. When they didn't take the money,
the money. That's rule number one.
If you want to get out of the office, you better take that money. Haven't you watched Sopranos?
Yeah, then they have
Sopranos.
What the hell? That's why I thought this was post-apocalyptic too. Zero television.
Where's all the TV?
Yeah.
So they get murdered. The two of the cousins get killed, and just disappeared. We don't see what happened to him. It's kind of revealed later what happens to him.
Yeah, and this becomes like the major plot of the movie essentially.
Yeah, kind of basically, and we find out that they're not the first either. There's they keep mentioning Old Man Wang, who went missing and nobody can find him. Outside of beating up street thugs and dragging husbands out of gambling dens to take home to their wives and just being generally heroic, Xiao Shen is concerned about his cousins who didn't show back home, and he's proactive. So he instantly, when he gets to work the next day, goes to the manager, and it's like, hey, where's my cousins? They were hurt. They held after. He's like, oh, I don't know. The boss wanted to see him, so we sent him up to the boss's house. So it's like, okay. They never came home, and he's just like, I don't know.
That's weird.
Well, that's weird.
That's pretty much their explanation for every time.
This manager, I was mad because I thought this guy was gonna get a fight scene. I thought he was gonna be like a mid-level boss.
Me too.
Because at one time they show him doing Tai Chi on his balcony.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna be like
later.
Right. He's gonna be like, we know our kung fu movie hierarchy.
Yeah.
He's a mid-level boss. Although this movie breaks some rules. We can talk about that. We'll probably get into that later. So Xiao Shen and one of the random cousins go to Big Boss, and this is why I assume the movie was called Big Boss.
Yeah.
Because this guy has like a compound. We first see him, he's doing like a training thing with his men and showing how he's all badass, classic setup for the villain, jumping over people and nearly stabbing and murdering his own men and stuff to show how tough he is and whatever.
Yeah.
So Xiao Shen and random cousin, they pretty much just openly question. They're like, hey, they told us, and he tries to play it off like, hey, I gave them some bonus money because I thought they were doing so much good work. They're probably off drunk somewhere.
Yeah.
They're just sleeping it off, or they went out with women. They had some money. They went to the brothel. But Xiao Shen's not buying it. These are his cousins. They're good men. They're country boys. They would have brought that money home and helped everybody with it. So he's not
definitely
buying.
Share everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So so that you can, I guess, they just assume Xiao Shen's going to go to the police, and he doesn't want that to happen. So a gang of guys attack Xiao Shen, and he puts up a valiant effort.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good fight. Now, we can talk a little bit about the fight choreography. There's a lot of groups against small number of guys in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the stand around and wait.
Oh yeah.
A lot of waiting your turn to attack and standing there with your weapon like, and then take your turn. And it's, it's like, it's hard. You want to judge it based on its time and everything, but it's noticeable. And having it been a trope for so long, you see why. Like, this is like one of those things you can't ignore.
Yeah,
They're just all standing around a circle while one or two guys at a time kind of come in and
and they do a lot of like running to a new location, and everyone's kind of still around, and they're doing like stuff, they're flailing their arms all around while running to a new location. Yeah.
Right.
And I guess this is probably back when that was okay to do, and people were just excited. Also, the fight scenes. There's not very many of them. They're
kind of sparsely placed throughout the movie. But I mean, it's just, it comes with the territory. But it was very much on display in this one. But Xiao Shen and the cousin get murdered too. Yeah. So now we have 4. We're down 4 cousins of like 8 that were in the house when Chang first arrived. So again, people are worried now. At this point, they're getting real restless. Like the rest of the cousins, some of the other factory workers show up at the manager's office, are like literally like, "Where are our cousins? We will burn this place to the ground."
Yeah.
Which I like that. Take that initiative there.
Yeah.
Again, he's like, I don't know. I sent him up to the boss's house.
It's weird. It's so weird they were here.
So weird they were here. That's his like big plan. I was like, that is not a great business model. Like, that's not a sustainable thing you're going to be able to keep doing.
The way they just murder people willingly, and then also they do the thing where they say, "Oh, don't worry, we called the cops. We got the cops involved. We're in close communication with the police.
The boss is a close friend of the police chief. We're looking into it."
I mean, they're working in shifts. I do like that in this ice house, like your level of employment is also like at a direct ratio with your ability to fight. So there's only a couple mid-level guys, but they're able to hold off like 30 of these
a lot of factory
dudes.
workers, exactly. Well, and this is where like he's been fighting off the urge to break his vow. Bruce Lee has this medallion, and during a lot of fights where like Xiao Shang was whooping ass, he was like, "Oh, I want to join in, but I can't. My medallion."
They pull it out like every scene too. He pulls
out the
medallion.
Out of his shirt and looks at it all the time.
Definitely get a lot of that medallion.
And even in the fight between the factory workers and the bad guys, there's a lot of people getting their ass beaten. His cousins are like, "Join in, help us out," and and then a bus full of dudes shows up to help the bad guys, to even out the numbers. And they're like, "Oh man, we're in trouble now. We're not going to be able, we're barely holding our own as it is." Chang still holds back. It is not until during the melee that his necklace gets ripped off that he finally comes to life.
And he goes nuts then.
Yeah, he throws a couple of kicks, and then all the guys in the factory are like, "Wow, did you see that?"
Yeah, and I will say this was like 45 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, they take their time to finally get
Bruce Lee throws
going.
And this is not even really a fight scene because he does just throw like a couple kicks, wins, and immediately
he throws a couple kicks, and then everybody's like, "Wow," like a little prematurely, because then he does kind of fight the group of guys who showed up on the bus. But it seemed like there were a lot more. Like, I swear some of those guys who got out of the bus just like, we're like, "No, we're factory workers.
Yeah.
No need to whoop our asses.
Shift change, right? We're just ready to go." And they get there and the bus pulls up. Those guys are just excited to be at work. That's why they all run off the bus. They don't fight him. They switch. Maybe that's what we're supposed to believe. His kicks, just those couple kicks, are so amazing that
they make some of those dudes from the bus switch sides,
those guys jump sides.
So after this big battle, Chang, sends them packing. He whoops some ass and turns the tide and everything. He then gets called to the manager's office. And even though everybody who's gone to the manager's office over the last 2 days has disappeared, and that's the whole reason that we're having this big fight and the reason that we were confronting, the factory guys are like, "Oh, Chang can handle himself. See you, Chang. Bye."
You'll be okay.
You'll be all right.
This is the part where I'm like, we're not watching this stuff that's happening in the movie that we're supposed to believe is not what's really. Because then they just show him like sitting outside. They don't even show. I don't even think they show him talk to the boss. They just show him hang up a piece of paper.
Then a guy comes out and hangs up a piece of paper that says Chang's now made the new foreman. So he's basically like the new, head of the ice packing plant.
Yeah.
Now I was gonna ask you. We know the deal with these guys. When you get called into the manager's office, you might get offered. I thought it implied that Chang took the deal. Took the $1,000, took the drug money, you know what I mean? I feel like there's an implication here because the way they offer that to the cousins, they're like, hey, we want to get you in on this. We think you're smart guys. Take this money. I was like, he comes out and he's partying. He's like, hey, all right.
They never show that, and they don't pay it off. I mean, there's a part where he has a falling out, but it's not because he's like flashing money or anything like that.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like the guys, his cousins and the other factory workers are so happy for him. They carry him out on their shoulders. They're so happy. They get home, and Chow Mei, the female cousin who lives there, who's got a bit of a crush on Chang, she lays it out immediately. She's like, oh, wow, that's great. Chang got a raise. So did you find my brother? The whole reason you went there?
It's never in a movie as a character said like the words that are like screaming, because they do this whole thing where they're like dancing. It's almost like a Rocky
moment.
They
do a march. They kind of march back to their house.
People are joining the march and like happy, like the little boy.
So
and
happy. Chang's the foreman. It's like they're like literally they found out Chang's the foreman. They're like, oh sweet, we'll probably finally get a fair shake around here. It's like your cousins are missing.
Yeah, and they just totally forgot. And then the whole time, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what about the fucking guys?
Chow Mei immediately drops the hammer on him, though.
Yeah, so thank you, Chow Mei, because I was like, what the fuck are you guys celebrating? Nothing was resolved.
So they kind of turn again, and they're like, oh, she's right. Chow Mei's right. Bruce Lee, you need to go. Chang, you need to go and confront them, and we need to go to the police and find out about. So he says he's going to do that, but then we see that he's back in the manager's office. So again, I feel like this feeds into my thing that I think he took. I think initially he takes the deal. Initially he's like, oh, he takes the extra money from him. He takes the new position. He gets bought off, and he's there partying. They get him drunk on Hennessy. They got him doing kung fu tricks with sexy ladies.
Yeah, he's eating. This is
all the meanwhile cousins sitting up at home, crying their eyes out, worried. Chow Mei's looking out into the night sky. Because now, even though we know that he's partying and having a good time and he took the deal, they think he's just yet another dude who disappeared. Yeah. Like I said, he's partying with sexy ladies. He's very drunk. He kind of is like
chasing one around.
Right, he sees her as Chow Mei because they got a little thing going on, and he kind of chases her, but it's playful.
Yeah.
It could have been not playful if there weren't enough people in the room, but it was playful.
Yeah, he wasn't.
But they go back to the room now. First thing we got some unexpected nudity. I did not expect to see boobs in this movie. Some boobs came out. I was like, whoa, hey now. All right. That's where we're at. All right, that's what we're doing. But then, is there implied male rape here?
Yeah, it's really. He doesn't move. He's asleep the entire time, passed out. She just gets naked and then just kind of lays on him.
But we have classic implied sex things here, where like they pan away to a window with like a breeze blowing on a chin. That's like classic movie
and
off-screen sex stuff. Day. And then she wakes, and like when they wake up, he jumps up out of bed, and she's kind of like, "Hey, you don't have to leave so soon or anything."
Yeah, and he's like he doesn't seem like he doesn't know what. He seems like he's not surprised, like he knows what happened, but. Maybe it's something with their like rules about what they can show. Like you can get some titties out, but you can't have.
Remember, she takes out her titties when she turns on the lights before she takes out the butt, before she takes out her pants. So who knows? Weird censorship. But I don't know. I felt like she was taking advantage of him. He was clearly passed out. If she had sex with him,
like you like to do in these situations, flip the script.
Right. Would you feel awkward about it if it went the other way?
We would be like, we would say that Bruce Lee was the bad guy if that is what happened.
Yeah. I'm already kind of
which I'm like you say, I'm not 100% sure he's not.
After the cousins kind of shame him again, he feels bad and he decides he's gonna take it to the boss. I think he does he even go see the manager again? The manager's like, "Yeah, God, why does
Yeah.
this guy even exist?
Yeah,
like,
right?
why isn't the
He's-
boss just in that office? And instead of having to go to the boss's house, you can just meet and have all this
You're
same
right.
shit happen in that office. That guy's only job is literally to be like, oh, I just sent him up to the boss.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, it's just one guy to talk to because he goes and talks to him. He's like,
Yeah.
go see the boss after work. It's
Yep,
fine.
it's fine.
You know?
Right. So he goes up to the house, and even though he's an invited guest, he gets let in the gate. There are 4 German shepherds waiting for him, and we have a nice little, not really a fight scene. It's more him jumping around and stuffed dogs being thrown at him.
Yeah, which
It's
is
good.
great the way, and they are short of show. He doesn't like kick dogs in the face
No,
or anything.
no.
He's just jumping around. sort of.
And the boss is kind of definitely, it's all for the boss to kind of get a gauge on what he's dealing with here. He's watching and then when one of the dogs finally gets a hold of his arm a little bit, he calls him off. They go inside. Chang asks the same questions and gets the same responses from the boss, but we do get a weird little thing where he's got these like house girls that kind of work for him and give him massages and bring him, and when one misbehaves, he blows a dart out of his pipe.
Yeah,
And it hits her,
really
and
weird.
I thought she was gonna die.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I thought it was gonna be that thing where Chang was like shocked because he actually killed someone
Yeah.
right there, but she's just like, ow, and then just kind of
walks
leaves.
away. It's so weird. Yeah, because it would be the perfect moment of him just like she spills a cup and he kills someone in front of her,
Yeah,
and
and,
it's like
like, damn. But I guess he is, even though their plan is so stupid, they're still kind of trying to play it close to the vest. And I guess if you kill a girl right there, Chang's gonna be like, oh, so you killed Xiao Shang. I guess there's no real
yeah, like you
I
killed
guess-
that girl. She didn't do
Yeah,
shit.
she didn't do shit, and Xiao Shang was all questioning your business and whatnot. So I get, but it was just a weird moment where I fully expected. I was like, oh, damn, and nothing. She was like, and then leaves.
Yeah. It was, and then they go a little bit further too to kind of show the son, like he reprimands the son.
Right.
for-
Well, the son we've seen before. There's a
Mhm.
scene in the earlier in the movie where Chang kind of saves Xiao Mei from getting assaulted a little bit. There's a guy who's getting a little aggressive with her, a little grabby and stuff, and it turns out to be the boss's son. And then he pops up here again. He comes in to kind of confirm, to do that thing. It was the boss said he's been talking to the police, and he comes in to be like, we've been searching the city too. And he's like, boss gets in his face, why haven't you been doing a good job? You're a failure or whatever. So they make a big show of it. But we also find out here after they let Chang leave that the reason that the son had his eye on Xiao Mei is he wants to get her and bring her home to daddy.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be one of the house girls, or is she? I figure the progression is you're a house girl and then you end up in the brothel.
And then
probably.
that's from what we've seen, because we saw the brothel girl explains the darts to him maybe after this scene, because they let him leave the house.
Well, yeah, he goes after he leaves. They let him leave. He goes home again, empty-handed, and this time the cousins are done. They literally like kick him out.
Yeah.
They send him, and so he goes back to visit his rapist, and she gives him the whole spiel about the drugs and the ice, and what's been going on, and that he needs to be careful. His life's probably in danger. Did she ever? I don't know if she talks about the darts. Though.
She pulls her shirt up,
and she's got
and
dart
that's where you get that
marks.
second boob scene, and you can see them. They just
I
look
must
like
have, you know what? I
freckles.
must have been taking notes during that because I missed that.
It's real fast. She just pulls them up and she points, and you can see it when they do the first section when she gets naked.
She's got
so
little marks on her.
arguably that's the reason they do that sex scene in the
so
first place.
I was gonna say, so that's plot nudity. That's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
I gotta give him some more credit. Anytime you have a nude scene, it actually pertains to the plot of the story. You got to give him an extra bonus point, I guess. You know
and
what I mean?
I honestly think that they did that, and then they realized that he was asleep, so they were like, "Oh, I got to do it again."
Right,
so
he won't
can
have seen
see
him,
it.
so he won't make the
So we had to
connection.
show it again, and the guy's like, "Yeah, 2 for the price of 1. Get him out again, girl."
Yeah, and then of course, after she tells him the whole deal, she gets murdered immediately.
Yeah,
She
that
gets killed like
he doesn't go after Bruce Lee, who
Right,
just now has the
right.
information.
Exactly, he kills the prostitute.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And then he goes to the ice factory, right? And this is where we have our big fight at the ice factory, and he is just straight up murdering people.
Yeah, he
here.
starts to
Really, this is where the fists of fury come in. And I do think that this is where the American title comes from, because after this fight, he's like stabbing people, and this is where we weren't sure if the son was killed in this fight, because it's the son is part of the group that attacks him, but he never appears back in the movie, so I have to assume he died in that fight.
And he just gets a couple hits to the stomach. Houdini's him or something.
Houdini's him. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that's where the American title comes from, because when he goes home after the fight, he's all covered in blood, and he's like looking at his hands and all like shocked himself. That's the fists.
He even does it for a second after he beats that guy too. He kind of holds it and looks too. So, okay,
exactly.
I get it.
Shocked by his own fists.
Yeah, that's why he had to have that amulet, so
to hold it back, exactly. So, so he comes home from that big battle. He's killed. He's kicked ass. He falls asleep. When he wakes up, all his cousins are dead. And there was a little kid who's like 10.
Yeah.
I think they also try to imply that they're framing him for a murder, because I feel like there was a girl there. It wasn't Chow Mei, but there was like a woman there, and his arm was in blood, her blood and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so like they're going full, like, you know what I mean? They're going full revenge movie now. You know, Chang has a little scene where he sits by the creek and he has a monologue. He denounces God and swears vengeance, basically.
Yeah.
I will say, final fight, Chang and the boss. This is where I think the choreography shines.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one-on-one, it's good.
It's great.
You know what I mean? It's a great fight. It's good, a lot of cool stuff going on here. So, unfortunately, it is literally the only one-on-one fight in the whole movie.
Yeah.
There's never another, like I said, where was my mid-boss fight with the manager? I feel like that got cut out because I feel like it's set up.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't know if they threw it away and went with one of the big group smash 'em ups or whatever again, but I feel like that hurts it a little bit. But this fight is good, well choreographed. And then during we forgot to mention that Chow Mei actually got kidnapped, and she's at the compound. During the fight, the girl that we see get darted earlier releases Chow Mei. She gets free. Fight continues. Obviously, Chang wins. He goes apeshit on the corpse a little bit. He stabs him, but then he jumps on the dead body and punches it a bunch of times.
Which I thought was crazy, because why would you just keep stabbing? But I thought there's no way you couldn't just show him just going nuts on that guy's face.
Just like blood spraying up on him.
Yeah, maybe if the cousin's been nicer.
He's pretty beast mode on him. He punches him a bunch. And...
yeah, he's obviously dead. I mean, the rules of this movie, like getting stabbed really with one that goes straight into any part of your body is dead.
Yeah, you can take a slash, but a stab in this movie is pretty much done.
All blades are poison at the very bottom of the
right near the hilt. Right near the hilt.
That's where all the poison is.
So as Chang's sitting there, sitting on a dead body, surrounded by dead bodies, Chow Mei shows up with the police. And at first I was like, oh yeah, she's here to break up the drug ring. This guy's a crime boss. And no, they just arrest Chang.
Yeah, they just take him away.
And they take him away. And literally it ends on the police leading him to the cars. And it's realistic. He did murder a bunch of people. Justifiable homicide, maybe. He might get a limited on an insanity plea. Because they're going to find out his whole family's murdered. Although, depending on the cops are crooked and what the situation is in town, you blame that on him too and just put him away forever. And then another crime boss takes over. Boss mentions that he's got enemies. That's another thing. I was sure that when the boss mentioned he had enemies, he was going to be like, and I think some of my enemies might have killed your cousin.
Yeah, because
what a much better way.
Put it on somebody else.
Yeah, and then sick Chang's badass shit on them. That could have been a whole nother thing where you send Chang to the rival boss and then later he finds out he was on the wrong side. I'm not talking about making the movie longer. Get rid of, I don't know, the bus full of idiots that show up. I don't know. Get rid of one of those. Let's talk Goodbye versus Goodbye. What do you think?
Okay, this is I don't know what to say. I really do believe. And I got to do some research, I guess, into this. I don't think that this movie is about to me, it felt like almost like they were a rival gang or something like that. Like him and his cousins were part of, it just seems so, they spent so much time having conversations what happened to those other guys that were dead? We need to know where they are.
I definitely don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that with the name changes and you have dubbing and you have people re-editing and especially multiple releases and I know after Bruce Lee died, there was a lot of shady stuff with trying to make money off of like stuff he had made and recut it and resell it and like
Yeah.
half-finished movies cut together with footage of other people and shit like that. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe there are multiple cuts, or maybe the American cut isn't just different in name only. Maybe it's a whole different
and maybe
film.
the scenes. Now that you said that, like I'm starting to think maybe the scenes are out of order too.
Right?
There
That could totally be. I could agree
like
with
a
that. I can see
reordering of
that.
scenes, and you're like, you know, like you could put that scene where he's sitting by the thing looking at everybody at the beginning or something.
I
like,
definitely
who are
like.
these people?
There's like we already had some ideas that I think would make this movie a fucking 10. Like,
Oh yeah, I agree.
like I'm gonna put my cards on the table. I don't think like I would not tell somebody to go out and buy this
No.
one
Or
unless
watch
you're
it.
like a die-hard Bruce Lee fan and you got to see
Yeah.
everything he's ever been in, because this what's good about this movie you're gonna see better in other movies.
And
Now, if I buy a Blu-ray pack and this is in it, I won't be sorry. I would like to see if it's the big boss, like, or I'd like to see if there's any differences, or maybe watch
Yeah.
it with subtitles instead of dubbing and see
Exactly.
if that's any different.
exactly right.
But like we talked about, the action is kind of it's. I try not to judge movies from the 70s for being from the 70s. It was movies were paced different back then, and same thing with the choreography. We've evolved. We're just used to more things. But like I said, the fact that the last fight looked good makes it even more painful that some of those
Exactly.
like group fights are a little weak. And you know, there's good moves in all of them. There's
Yeah.
good moments. There's great, and yeah, when Bruce Lee kicks people, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, he does some cool shit. But like I said, overall, I'm just kind of like, I just don't think it's best work.
Yeah,
You know
you're
what I
absolutely
mean?
right. And he's arguably really only in one fight scene in the entire one elongated fight scene. You know, when he comes into that ice tower.
I'd say you have the one where he like kills the son, beats all those
Yeah.
guys, and then you have the final one. So two
Yeah.
main ones, but the one where he first kind of breaks loose isn't really. It's more of an intimidation thing. He does a couple kicks, knocks some people down and stuff, but like overall, he's more just like kind of turning the tide in that situation.
Agreed. Yeah, because it's like 45 minutes when he does that little fight at the ice, and then it's an hour and 20
When he
he
really
does
gets
the other.
into
So
it,
it's like
yeah.
the last 15 minutes of this movie you could watch and just be like, yeah, I
Right?
watched
Yeah,
it.
I agree with that. Yeah, definitely. It's paced a little weird, and like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I just think there's some interesting beats that aren't in here that could be. Like I like the idea of him taking the deal and being kind of a bumpkin and not
Yeah,
really
yeah.
understanding. Like they could have delved into that. Could have been something that's easily touched on and added to, and that would have made more sense for why the cousins were so mad at him and they kept talking about his
Yeah.
big head and how he'd become so full of himself. You could like play that in more. He like was really getting in with the manager. I mean, I guess we have the one scene, but I feel like there was time to do that because there was time we were just doing not much
Yeah,
else.
when they were just
Like,
sitting around talking about stuff. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was just really weird because you're never really engaged. You know that they killed these guys, and you know that they know. So the whole time you're just like,
right.
You know, I'm waiting for somebody to whip some ass.
Oh, we didn't talk about the reveal of them finding the bodies in the ice blocks.
Which is, what's the point of that? I was thinking that,
yeah.
but what's
And
the
they're
point of
still at
hiding
the
the
factory.
drugs?
Exactly. I feel like you're wasting perfectly good ice blocks that
Yeah.
have drugs in them, and the ice blocks are still at the factory. Don't you need to get rid of those or
But what-
something?
what-
Like
first of all, ice is clear. Why are you hiding
Yeah.
shit inside of
he
ice?
could see the face through the ice.
And he could see the drugs. It's
Yeah.
like, why are
he
you
could even
hiding it?
identify which cousin was in which block of ice.
Wasn't he- what was really? What's the end game to put that guy in ice like that? Like, I mean, are you a big Star Wars fan or something? You're trying to recreate?
No, this
the
predates.
Han
This is
Solo?
1971 or
Oh,
something.
wow.
This predates. George Lucas was actually a Fist of Fury fan, turns out.
Yeah, he saw this. He's like, I gotta do that somehow in a movie.
Gotta
Yeah,
get in
what's
on
the
that.
point of one of those guys in ice? Oh, they were already dead. And
Yeah.
they cut him. They showed him like dismembering him.
Yeah, they
Why?
did. They showed him chopping
You were
him with the
almost
big
there.
ice blocks, and it was kind of more gory than I was expecting. And then they clearly put the bodies back together and then froze them in ice. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, if you're a diehard Bruce Lee fan, you gotta have them all. I get it, but I think that like if you're just a fan of martial arts movies and you like Bruce Lee, there's better stuff out there.
Way better.
We're gonna do more Bruce Lee movies. Like I said, I know I have Game of Death. I know I have Chinese Connection. So we're gonna get into those ones.
Yeah, and I just keep thinking of this quote in the back where this says, possibly Bruce Lee's best film, and there's like ellipses, and I feel like it was before that he said, having never seen any Bruce Lee films or any other movies
Well, I think,
whatsoever.
and we noted at the beginning, this is his first starring vehicle, so that's important to take into account too. Like, Walking Tall isn't The Rock's best movie either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true too.
You
That's
got
true
early
too.
works that you're kind of working out and getting into your flow, and also. Famously, I think that Lee clashed with the filmmakers on this one a little bit, so Like I know specifically the scene that made us laugh. He punches a guy up against the wall, and then when they cut it back, there's literally like a cartoon cutout of the guy in the wall. And I know like he hated that. He wanted like the realism of it.
I don't doubt it, because that was
so
cheesy.
dumb but so funny. But yeah, so I think that maybe that affected the outcome of the final picture as well. That being said, still good stuff in that last 20-30 minutes, you know,
I will
to enjoy.
Say the way he kills the guy, where the guy throws a knife at him and he kicks it back
and
that's
says
cool.
That was
a
sweet.
great idea.
That was
So yeah, like you said, but that bums me out more because you're like, oh, you had some good ideas.
Right. Like I probably would have been, if you would have tightened up the plot a little bit, gave me a little bit more to work with there, and then like I said, add that mid-boss fight with the manager.
Yeah,
I think I'd have been fine with kind of the sloppy group fighting and stuff like that. I think I'd have been okay.
Yeah. And that amulet stuff doesn't pay. It doesn't ever come back in any way.
I don't think they really. I mean, maybe I missed it, and it's in the. It would have to be in the first like couple lines of dialogue if they say why he made a vow.
I missed
what it was. Yeah, like I don't feel like they ever even really say it. It's more just like remember your vow.
Yeah,
but they don't want to like did something happen and like did I miss the part where he was like, well, we were humble farmers until you murdered all those people. We had to flee our town. So I brought you here to the city to lay low for a while. Yeah. Here's an amulet. Please don't go on another killing spree.
Just to remind you, you just can't stop killing. It's like, oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, because every single scene in the first like half hour, it's somebody going to him like, "Don't get in a fight, man. They're not supposed to fight."
Or him watching Shawshank kick ass all over town and being like, "I really want to fight."
Yeah, it almost...
He even sneaks in a couple of hits during one of Shawshank's fights, and then makes a joke like, "Oh, I guess I broke my vow." Yeah. And then later is still pensive about it. It's like, "No, should I do it?" It's like, you were just joking about it.
You beat those guys up too. You already broke your vow. Like, what? I didn't have to try that hard, so it didn't count.
Didn't count because I barely put in the effort. I could have just been yawning and maybe punched.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. This was hard. This was a hard one, just because I was constantly thinking like, this isn't really what these people are saying is not what I'm watching. It's just like a joke.
Well, either way, it was a little bit of a disappointment. Not the best Bruce Lee movie I've ever seen, but it felt good to be back. Get back in the swing. Get back in the swing. Hopefully, get on a little bit more of a regular schedule and get some more DVD bunkers out to our fans out there. Thank you for being patient with us. Please subscribe to the TUFF channel. We're getting ready. We're getting real close to Fan Friction coming back when this is coming out. Kimber's the new champ. We got some celebrity guests lined up. Celebrity, if you watch YouTube a lot. I don't want to paint a too big a picture. It's The Rock.
The Rock. I was going to say that. The Rock will be on.
The Rock 100% will be on Fan Friction this season. Bank on it. But yeah, definitely subscribe, like our video, check out the other content. Fan Friction, like I said, BFF, Odd Shape Panel, and Odd Shape Channel. They have their own spinoff where they do all sorts of other stuff, so check them out too. And thanks to Jeannine for our original DVD bunker logo, and Austin always helps us out with our banners. Ron for the music, and anybody who is still watching. Bye. Thanks. Bye.